All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about the main tag. So the main tag specifies the main content of a document. So before semantics really came around, and again, I was talking about this in the previous video, the div tag was used for everything, okay? So you're going to notice in upcoming videos when we talk about section, article, aside, details, dialogue, summary, data, and footer, that before they had HTML5, they didn't have any of these tags. These are all HTML5 tags that made everything simpler for the developer to just go in and say, okay, I want a span, I want a header, I want a footer, I want a main, I want a section, I want an article, etc. I want navigation. Before that, everything was divs, okay? Everything. Everything was divs. And either you were using a class or an ID, which I haven't covered that yet, but basically what you were doing with that is you were giving the class to a div. So this would be an example. Remember when we did the div tag here? Okay, I'll show you by another example real quick. It'll make sense. So if I type in div and I hit tab, and you see how it does class. So we could do div 1. Okay, it could be the class. I can go into my CSS here, or my styling area, my style tag, and I can call on this class. So dot div 1, and that's how you identify a class with HTML and CSS, okay? And then what I could do is I could do background, black, border, 1 pixel, solid, lime, okay? Right click open in the browser and let's see what happens. Okay, we get the border. So with divs, you have to give it a width and a height. So width, let's do 50%. Height, let's do 500 pixels. And let's right click open in the browser. Just so we can go off the map here and you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so that's a class. So what I did is I gave this div a class and then I called on that class and said, okay, I want to call on the class div1 and I want to give it a background of black, a border of 1 pixel, solid, and then lime green, a width of 50% and a height of 500 pixels. Okay? That's what you would do for everything. So when you do navigation, when you would do other things, you would use all these different tags that made no sense in terms of how to create a navigation, okay, or a main tag or a div tag, right? So when you use the main tag, okay, which we're going to do here, okay, so we'll do main. What they did when they created that is they made a more simplistic setup where you could just do like an H1, this is a header, and then right click open that in the browser, and you're going to notice something right away. Okay, it's right there. Now, when I close this and I go up here and I give the main tag the same properties without the width and the height, we do background blue, okay, and just we'll give it a background of blue. And then I open that in the browser. What do you get? I get blue. It automatically has a width and a height. So I don't have to determine that. Okay? And so the main tag, again, what it does is it specifies the main content of a document. So what you can do is you can make sections in your website, and let's say it's the top part of the page, so it's your top story. Let's say it's a news site, okay? So you have the top story in the main section, and then you have another article in another main section, and then another main section. So you have 3 top stories. So you have the main, right? The main number 1, and then two below that. So you have 2 and 3 below that. Okay? That's a way to separate the content. Okay? And again, the reason why they developed HTML5 was to focus on content over development. Okay? Because when you're focusing on content, what that does is when you simplify things, then people understand what you're doing. Okay? And so that's the idea of the main tag. All right. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.